In the heart of the vast, sun-drenched savannah lived a little lion cub named Leo. Unlike the other cubs, who were boisterous and bold, Leo was a bit different. He had a magnificent mane for his age, the color of golden honey, and big, curious eyes, but his heart was as timid as a mouse. While his siblings wrestled and roared, practicing their pounces, Leo preferred to hide behind his mother's tail, watching the world from a safe distance. His father, the mighty King Mufasa of the Pride, would often say, "Leo, my son, a king's heart must be brave." The other animals would sometimes whisper, "There goes the little lion with the big roar he's afraid to use." One sunny afternoon, Leo's best friend, a cheeky little monkey named Zippy, swung down from a baobab tree. Leo's heart fluttered with a mix of excitement and fear. The whispering waterfall was far from the safety of Pride Rock, beyond the familiar acacia trees. "I don't know, Zippy," Leo mumbled, his gaze fixed on his paws. It's far. What if we get lost? What if we meet a grumpy rhinoceros?" Zippy just chattered with laughter. "Don't be a scaredy cat. Or, well, a scaredy lion. Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do it anyway. I'll be right beside you." Zippy's confidence was contagious. Leo took a deep breath, puffed out his tiny chest, and for the first time he agreed. "Okay," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "Let's go." A family of giraffes gracefully nibbled leaves from the tallest trees, their long necks like elegant towers. Leo was so captivated that for a moment he forgot to be scared. He even tried a small, wobbly pounce on a butterfly, which made Zippy roll on the ground with laughter. As they ventured further, the landscape changed. The open plains gave way to a denser part of the jungle. Strange sounds echoed through the trees, and long shadows danced on the ground. Leo's old fears started to creep back in. He stayed close to Zippy, his eyes wide, his ears twitching at every sound. Suddenly, a loud, angry snort echoed from a nearby thicket. A huge warthog, with tusks as sharp as daggers, burst out, unhappy about being disturbed. Leo froze, his heart hammered against his ribs. He wanted to run, to hide, to disappear. Zippy, quick as a flash, scrambled up the nearest tree. "Leo, run," he squeaked. But Leo's paws felt like they were rooted to the ground. He looked at the angry warthog, then back at the path they had come from. He could run back to safety, back to his mother's side. But then he looked up at Zippy, who was chattering nervously in the tree. He couldn't just leave his friend. Remembering his father's words and Zippy's encouragement, Leo did something he had never done before. It wasn't a mighty, earth-shaking roar like his father's. It was more of a squeaky, high-pitched yelp, ruah squeak. The warthog stopped, confused. It blinked its beady eyes, tilting its head at the strange noise. It probably expected a real roar, not this funny sound. Seeing the warthog's hesitation, a spark of courage ignited within Leo. He did it again, this time a little louder, raw squeak. He stomped his little paws and tried to look as big and fierce as he could. The warthog, utterly baffled by this tiny, squeaky, but surprisingly determined lion cub, gave one last snort of confusion and trotted off into the undergrowth, probably in search of a quieter napping spot. Leo stood there, panting, his whole body trembling. Zippy scrambled down the tree and hugged him tightly. "You did it, Leo. You did it. You were so brave. You saved me." Leo looked at his paws, then at the direction the warthog had gone. He hadn't felt big or mighty. He had been terrified, but he had stood his ground. For his friend, a warm feeling spread through his chest, a feeling he had never known before. It was pride. With renewed confidence, they continued their journey. The sounds of the jungle no longer seemed so menacing. Leo walked with his head held a little higher, his tail swishing with a newfound swagger. Finally, they heard it, a gentle, melodic sound, like a soft lullaby carried on the breeze. They had found the whispering waterfall. It was more beautiful than Leo could have ever imagined. Water tumbled down moss-covered rocks into a crystal-clear pool, creating a spray of sparkling mist. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting rainbows in the air. The sound of the water was indeed like a song, a peaceful, calming melody that washed away all his remaining fears. Leo and Zippy played for hours, splashing in the cool water and listening to the waterfall's song as the sun began to set, casting long orange shadows across the savannah. Leo knew it was time to go home. The journey back didn't seem scary at all. In fact, Leo felt a sense of excitement. He had faced his fears and discovered a strength he never knew he had. When they arrived back at Pride Rock, the entire Pride was worried. His mother rushed to him, nuzzling him with relief. His father, King Mufasa, looked at him with serious eyes. "Where have you been, Leo?" he asked, his voice deep and rumbling. The other lion cubs looked at Leo with new respect. Mufasa listened intently, a slow smile spreading across his face. He bent down and nuzzled his son, his roar now soft and full of pride. "Leo," he said, his voice filled with warmth. "Today you did not have the roar of a king, but you had the heart of one. Bravery is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. I am prouder of you today than I have ever been." That night, as Leo lay curled up beside his mother, he looked out at the moonlit savannah. He knew there would still be things that scared him. He knew he still had a lot to learn. But he also knew that deep inside him was a brave little lion, ready to face whatever came his way, one squeaky roar at a time. And as he drifted off to sleep, he let out a tiny, contented roar, a promise to himself of all the adventures yet to come. Thanks for watching our story today. If you loved Leo's adventure, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the wild. See you next time.